So I think we can start.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Brianna. Welcome today. We are, thank you for coming. We are actually going to interview. We are very interested in your chapter in the book, AI Everywhere, Volume 1. Your chapter actually is one of the under discussed topic, but it affects every one of us, every
Yes.
household, actually, every work, in all aspects. So why not first introduce yourself and let us know about your experience in your work?
Sure. Can you hear me okay? I wasn't sure if it was working.
Yes, yes, yes. Do you
Okay.
hear me okay?
I
Yes.
can. Yes. I'm so happy to be here and thank you so much. I'm Dr. Brie-Anna Willey and I write Business for Nerds. And why did I pick that title? It's because it's about bringing fun back into business and life and that kind of thing and letting back out the creative self in our work. And I think that aligns really well with the AI and mental health chapter. So I'm also a therapist as well, and I'm a business coach. And I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, that's something. I wrote an article with some languages actually about burnout, and because actually it exists and no one talking about this all the AI race that we are going to discuss in detail with you. So your chapter actually it's called AI burnout and the compassion reset, which is actually the title itself. The last two words, compassion reset, is very much needed. So it's like, what sparked you, or actually, what is your driver to write or include this chapter in AI Everywhere book? Is there any specific moment or any something personal that led you say this is an important and needs to be included in dealing with AI?
Yes, I feel like it's a number of things. I'm an intuitive person, and I just felt like writing about these types of things was really important with how I get overwhelmed with social media. I talk about the social media spiral. I actually named a piece of my Substack the social media spiral to help us manage this better. And I have another section of my blog that's robot blues, which it's like I love AI, but I also feel like if I let it overtake my feeds or it's so intertwined with social media. If we let it, it could take over. We need to have something grounding us to the present, helping us stay mindful and
Yes.
just not be overtaken by AI. So it was kind of like I wanted to write about it because it's a number of things. My dissertation for my doctorate, I wrote about compassion fatigue and how that impacts therapists. And I also feel like burnout is a huge thing with all of us, with all people. We can get
All
burned out with
ages.
tech. Yeah. So I yeah, so that's kind of the beginning of why. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Don't worry. It's like I'm new to the podcast, but I promised to help promote the book and with Karen. So actually, we need actually to speak about it because it's not a taboo topic, but it's kind of like shame that you because we are the strong, independent woman. It's like all these names that or titles that you have to be strong, you have to be responsible, to be accountable, but it's put a lot of weight on our shoulder accumulated and it put us down. It cracked us in a moment. It's like something will happen and we are going to collapse.
Yes, the weight.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
In your book, in your chapter, actually, you mentioned that AI is not just a tool and it's something that is fundamentally reshaping our personal and mental health and professional identity. Would you elaborate on that?
Um, let's see. Sorry, I have ADHD. Could you repeat that again?
No, yes. You say that AI is not just a tool. It's actually it's reshaping in our personal mental health and professional identity because actually the algorithm is designed for that.
Mm. Yes, I feel like so I was writing about one of the research articles I read for my chapter was about techno stress. And so how it's reshaping us, I feel like it's showing up. I was thinking about the example, like in my own home. So I'm not the best cook in the world. I know this doesn't exactly go with work and that type of thing, but I did turn to one of my GPTs and I built one that's based on a famous chef. To help me with cooking better.
Hmm.
I over relied on it at first, and some of the meals were tasteless. They were missing spice, and I feel like that's kind of an example of what can happen if we over rely on it with work too, that it can take out the human component, the empathy, the compassion, the spice, and that sort of thing. So I feel like we can use these tools, but we need to be grounded with them. Like with my GPTs I use, I always check them. I only use them as an editor now. Otherwise, if I let them just write for me, they will, write out my personality, from my writing. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
No, it is so true. Actually, in my culture, it's like we always say cooking has a soul. It's like not everyone can be a chef. So there is a soul in cooking. And I think ChatGPT will never put you any this touch on your spices or things. And I totally relate because
yes.
every time I follow any an instruction from Instagram or even YouTube, I believe that there is something missing because it never comes out the same.
Yes.
I follow everything and it never comes the same. That's true that AI, I hope that people consider it as a tool and utility and not just something to depend on it or to give it an identity and a character that it's going to be a pillar to go to. This is so true. Okay, for today I wrote an article about actually the fight over attention because the fight of our attention actually it's being commodified and it's being there's a huge market for it. The
Yes.
identity of attention, all the platform now, and we can see the case of Meta and even YouTube are really charged for it. They are designed to actually hijack your mental health to keep you in the loop in their platform as long as you can. So, what do you suggest is like the protective and scrolling? How is AI affecting our ability to focus on what truly mattered and how it's going to affect our mental health? It's like, if there is any, can you draw a line how to make it a positive and not be another addition to the attention model, like YouTube or Instagram, for example?
Yes. I feel like the answer, um, I know I wrote a lot in my chapter and I put in a lot of research articles, and I feel like I put on my academic hat. But I also wanted to keep it grounded too in humanity as well. So I tried to zoom out and like, okay, this is sounding really researchy. But kinda helping us to manage the scroll, basically. Is that kinda what you're asking, like,
Yes.
the
No,
drive to scroll?
no, is there is any connection between the attention, and addiction to for the attention and the burnout? Because actually they correlate. They are going to affect each other because your attention span is going to be lower and it's going to be hooked and hijacked by stimulus designed by algorithm, and it's going to increase burnout. It's going to make I believe it will make us more vulnerable.
Yes, yes. And I did actually read, some of your chapter, not your your chapter 2 and your blog post from today, I think.
Yes,
Um so just thinking about, okay, how can it hijack our attention? I feel like I wrote in the chapter about how I posted something on TikTok after I had lost my fur baby, and I was just kinda in this state of I don't know, I wasn't thinking as clearly. I feel like I had posted something a little vulnerable, and I then commented about something, that was going on with therapists, and it was somewhat of a, contentious topic, and that contentious topic that was it also was during my grief. I feel like it just spiraled and people were commenting and saying actually horrible things. And I had to actually remove the commenting feature on it because I feel like attention was drifting for all of us. And I feel like that is what can happen with some of these social media platforms that they can take over. They can take our attention, they can distract us. And I feel like what I needed to do, and I have since been applying, is grounding myself. And, if I'm upset about something, don't post. Wait, hold it. And I actually wrote about this in that chapter a little bit about it. So, again, I don't know if I answered. I have ADHD and attention problems myself. So,
Uh, it's no problem. No, I hear you because actually, when we are in grief or we are in sadness, we are triggered by emotion, not our cognitive ability. And what we are going to come out of us is not will be well articulated. It will always be marinated with this feeling. It's not going to be true. It will be totally momentarily. I hear you. It's not a good. Sometimes venting out. I feel it is a good way because you should never keep it inside to toxicate
yes.
you more. Talking about them is good. Stopping commenting on them, but sometimes empathy matters. Because some people it works with people like you need maybe someone to tell you something nice. It's going to comfort you. You will never know. So I don't know if it's right or wrong to share it or not, but
Mhm.
sometimes it works with people.
Yes, and I do
Empathy matters.
totally
Yeah.
agree with sharing feelings.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes we might share them impulsively, and I think that I was a little impulsive because I had combined a it was basically a political topic with my grief, and that was just like a powder
Mm.
keg. And
Yes.
so I turned off commenting, and I was like, "Be
And
careful next time, Bree."
it's true. But if I will ask you to put your academic hat, do you see women are more vulnerable in burnout than men, or it's equally on both of us?
Ooh, yeah, I'm not sure.
Like, because we are more emotional and hormones, and we have a lots of factors that triggers our emotions, and we are more prone, not immune. So I'm not sure if there is any study to say men are more stronger or more immune to burnout
That's
than
a good
women. Or
question.
yes,
I don't know, so in my, compassion fatigue research that I did, the people that participated, so there were, I think it was 7 participants, if I remember correctly, and they were all women. So I actually studied with women, and they were therapists as well. So the actual numbers, I'm not sure. We'd have to look those up, but I do think maybe it shows up uniquely across the genders. I think that maybe I think there's a lot of overlap in our coping abilities too. I think that, actually Scott Perry just joined and he talks about stoicism and how applying stoicism, we can use that across the genders, so we can use similar coping strategies, I think. So, I'm not sure about that one, but I think we all can cope if we apply, the zooming out, um, kinds of pieces. Like, let's look at this logically. I feel like we all can do that. It's just, if we apply the grounding techniques that I talk about, the compassion reset type of framework, like let's zoom out, let's reconnect with who we are, our philosophies and principles, and let's reconnect with other people who believe in a similar way to us. So I don't know. I'm not sure, if there's a difference or not. So I'm sorry I couldn't answer that question.
no, because there's the comparison. Our our buildup is an interaction with things is different between men. The cognitive ability is different. It's not the cognitive ability, actually, our emotional ability is different. We women are more vulnerable to them because we interact with them with, like this. We don't even wait. When you mention impulses, actually, we women are very impulsive in this, or I will relate myself.
Mhm.
We live in a world that we are totally connected now, like all over the world. We are not even regional, globally totally connected, but still there is loneliness that everywhere. This sense of like I have to be seen, but I'm not engaged. It's like it's not a fake relationships, but it's a totally virtual relationships. How this is affecting being totally in total connections to burnout, and is not actually helping us. It's actually backfiring in the opposite.
Mm. Yes. Yes. That, technology is feeding more loneliness.
Yes, the connection is not helping for more empathy and more human things. The fact that they added a virtual layer to it make it like it pivoted its purposes. It's no longer serving what it should be. To me.
Yes. Yes. Was it you that was writing? Yes, you were writing about, I was reading your article about alcohol,
Yes.
and that was so good.
Yes, because alcohol is like, and I'm so happy they are losing the market and they are going to be bankrupt this year. Five
Mhm.
major companies, they already screwed our health. Like, I
Mm.
don't understand like how people drink that much liquors and things, damage their health for socializing. It worked for some time, for an era, and now dating apps and everything, they stole the market. And the irony, we always know that two wrongs doesn't make it right, but this times two wrongs make one thing right. There is more awareness for our health now. And there is other factor like the debt structure they were building, but they actually capitalize and commodify our need to socialize,
Yes.
and they're creating health issues like myopia. I call it, and this is why I call myopia service. And the attention economy for dating app OnlyFans. Like I'm gonna write a report about OnlyFans. I interview people, and the stories you hear. This is and should be an illegal platform to exist.
Mm.
It's the damage they are doing. Like they say something, we are connecting and we are serving, we are commodifying something. And the truth of the matter is totally the opposite. Is objectifying women, is everything but whatever they are saying. Is totally a facade for something totally brutal. So
Mm.
it's destroying generation, not just our attention, our trust to connect.
Mm.
'Cause if you manage to build something totally virtual, um, your ability to discern reality goes down, and
Mhm.
it's not going to be a trophy. It's you're going to doubt everything, and doubt can break any relationship before it starts.
Ooh, that's
It
powerful.
really, yeah.
Yeah, so, a friend of mine, that's actually in our community, Seth Werkheiser talks about, getting off of social media, and it doesn't mean you have to leave all the platforms, but it's about connecting outside of it, reconnecting, talking on the phone, meeting in person if possible. Now, sometimes that's not possible when we're across the world, from each other. But, we can do these live conversations.
Yeah, like FaceTime, I love it. It's like you feel it. It's real. I'm not gonna say or any virtual medium, but at least you see personal cues. You receive a human signal, not just visuals and emoji and
Mhm.
all these abbreviations. That is like, what? What do you mean? Is it?
Yes, and the live interaction, I feel like we lose the ability to do that. I've lost it at times when I was so plugged in. And then I met people in person and I'm like, how do I do this again? So
Yes,
really that's compassion reset in a nutshell is let's reconnect.
Okay, in your chapter, you mentioned that AI can really affect and impact the professional identity because you are expecting you are reduced to metrics now, and your identity and your judgment is being out, and the value of what you're doing is going to go down. So, how this is going to affect the burnout, or really cause a byproduct, a burnout or a collapse?
Yeah, I think we need to go back to philosophy and principles, which is something else that my coach has taught me. I feel like I knew that, but he drew that out of me. And that's why I so recommend coaching. Um, that we need to root in our philosophy and principles because if we let AI and social media and tech drive our businesses, our home life, our, cooking, we're going to miss what our core, our who we are pieces. We're gonna automate all of that out. And so I feel like we need to get back to, I don't know, back to basics, basically. you know?
Totally agree with you. What do you think of the Igaki model, which is actually the Japanese model that everyone is vouching for? It's actually working and can help many. But what is your take on it?
Yes, I feel like the stuff I read really aligns with that because had to look that up. I wasn't familiar with that particular term. But I feel like it relates really well to, I read her article. I forget her name. Was it
Sarah
Sarah?
Ellen. Sarah, yes, and she wrote a chapter about it, and it's a beautiful chapter. I can't wait to interview her too. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I subscribed to her through looking that up, as I was preparing for this, that, I'm still learning exactly what that means, but I feel like for me, it's about finding myself. And as I find myself, and I express that, which I could use like AI to help with that, but I can't use it to drive that. I have to drive it. And I feel like it's looking at my internal parts, like internal family systems theory. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but there's a part of myself that I suppressed for a very long time, and it's my creative self. And once I let her back out again, and I aligned her with my business, not let her take over, but aligned her, I feel like now I'm walking more in my purpose. And I feel like that sort of goes with what we're talking about here. And she talked about too, that I don't know how to say it. Is it icky? How do you say the word?
Igaki. Igigaki?
Ikigaki? Um,
Igigaki. It's Japanese term. I think I pronounce it properly, but it sounds it's Japanese term
I
or
love it.
constantly.
But like the proverbial slowing down to smell the roses, you
Yeah.
know, looking outside, um, writing, doing something we enjoy where we're content. I feel like that's part of it, if
Yes.
I'm reading correctly about it. So, but I feel like Compassion Reset is all about that.
You mentioned something very interesting, suppressing a part of us, because actually, I think all of us, and when we finish university and we enter the workforce, we try to fit in the corporate paradigms and it's like in the model, and we had to suppress because we need to fit in.
Yes.
And I believe every one of us, because I totally relate. It hit hard with me when you suppress something because you cannot say this in corporate, you have to say that. And we were programmed to think and speak and talk and act and interact in this format to a
Yes.
point you lose part of yourself. You adapt and you think it's gross, but you miss this part. It's always like, I'm not saying nagging, but it's dormant inside of you. And when you connect to it, it will open creativity, as you said, and can take you somewhere else.
Yes.
Very true.
It's the
Yeah.
path to self-actualization. When you look at
Yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's one of the highest parts of it is creativity. And
Mm,
we can access that all the way across that
sure.
path. I have this whole kind of theory I'm looking into, kind of building with that's based in these different theories. But I'm still kind of figuring them out. Anyway,
Yeah. In Sufism, we say life is a journey to know yourself. It's not about knowing others. It's just take your time to know yourself. And if you connect with yourself, you are gonna reach the equilibrium, and this equilibrium actually is the success and happiness or whatever the epitome of anything you can achieve in life. When you are totally connected, heart, mind, and soul. Yeah.
yes, and then from that, knowing ourselves, that helps us love others, I think too.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because actually, if there is no you, nothing will come out of you. So I always say, focus on yourself first. Don't be outreach and stretch arms and legs and to help. This is good, but you first. Because honestly, if there is no you, nothing will come out of you. You cannot just keep giving, 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 and depleting yourself and leaving yourself
100%.
empty and hollow.
Yes, that's where burnout comes, when we
Yeah.
overgive, and that was some of the chapter too that us natural helpers, whether you could be in tech and be a natural helper, you might pour yourself out by giving so much. Um, I think in the book, Karen was talking about the data. Were they the data analysts? I'm not sure what the terms are. I'm more of like an AI user versus expert.
Yeah.
But they were studying to help build the AIs, and there was some, burnout with that too because they were just giving, giving, giving. If we pour ourselves out and don't refill ourselves, we that's just a recipe for burnout.
Yes. In your chapter, you introduce the term of compassion reset. Can you elaborate on that, especially for parents who are listening and they are drained with technology, they are already drained with their chores and work out and their kids. Um,
Yeah.
compassion reset.
Yes. So Um, I built this thing called Compassion Reset Quest, and it's my philosophy and principle for my business. And it's about it does apply to life, the universe and everything as well, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Anyway, you can apply it by just being. Slow down. Be present, be with your family, notice them, turn the tech off, go outside, play a game. It's about slowing down and looking, observing, not getting caught up in the funnels, in the social media, in the doom scrolling. It's about there's a lot to it. That's why I'm writing a book about it. But it's about being compassionate with ourselves and our children, our partners, our friends, our coworkers, our employees. It's about being present with them. Um, so I don't know exactly how to word it because it's like I'm at about 10 chapters now so far in the book. So, but that's the nutshell is mindfulness and being present, being compassionate, self-compassion.
Yeah, burnout can be caused by many factors. One of them actually is the accountability problem. I wrote about a lot in the digital gap. The accountability is always lost because it's shown from one party to another. But how can you help your reader or anyone who's listening to us to do a personal accountability, to draw a line so he can speak up, so he is not overloaded and put on his shoulder an accountability that is not his? Like how to
Mm.
make between them. Yes.
Accountability with the self? Is that
Yeah.
kinda what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm still trying to figure that out. How am I doing that? I think the applying this present-mindedness helps me to analyze basically, okay, so I'm on, say some meta platform like Facebook, and I notice I zoom out and I see I'm caught in doom scrolling right now. So I try to just be aware of that to stop it. And so now I go on to Meta with a purpose. I am going to share one post. I am going to get off of it. I'm not staying on there. I'm going to be on for 5 minutes. That's being accountable to my goal of I'm not going to let the social media spiral swirl me up. I'm stopping. And that's me being accountable to myself. Now I do have systems that help me stay accountable where I basically built an operating system for myself and for my business. And it's basically like different checks that I follow to make sure I don't get caught up, that I am focusing on what I need to be focusing on,
Mhm.
and I intuit it too. I don't just, like, do these certain things like what we're talking about. We don't wanna just have rules. It's also about intuition. So I kind of play it by ear per se.
Okay. Now with AI, how do you help someone to tell them this is your accountability and this is AI accountability and this
Mhm.
is your boss or this is the task accountability? Because if they get blurred and the one who's using AI is going to carry all this load, and sometimes it's heavy, especially on
Mhm.
Jenny just entered the workforce. They cannot handle the load, especially that AI there is no explainability. They cannot explain what happens. They just give you answers. So
Yes,
how do
yes.
you help them see where is your this is your parameters and this is your accountability. Apart from that, it's not yours. And draw a line and be
Draw a line with AI? Oh my goodness, that's hard. I just wanna validate y'all. It's hard because it's amazing and it's terrifying. That's why I named part of my blog Robot Blues, because it's amazing and terrifying. Because I think, I use ChatGPT is the one I'm obsessed over right now because I have my little obsessions with, my neurodivergence, and so I built tons of GPTs. I've built, like, 20. And they all have a specific purpose, and they all do certain things. Now the risk there is I could use all of them all the time and get caught up in like an AI spiral where I'm talking to them all the time instead of actually getting things done and moving the needle. So the accountability there is I'm simplifying. I haven't talked to several of them for a long time. I focus in one section on one project instead of, overbuilding. That's my risk is overbuilding, overusing AI. I could, just be talking to it all day and not get anything done. So where do I put my boundaries and guardrails? It's with limitations. I'm only gonna use it a certain amount for this specific purpose, kinda like with, social media. I go in and I need to have a finite time that I'm using it with finite instructions and that kinda thing. Using it as a tool instead of it using me. I don't know if I answered your question.
yes. You said you are a therapist, and would you recommend ChatGPT as a go-to or a resort to discuss or vent out with?
Ooh,
Do you think
ooh,
this is a good? It's like when you talk about compassion reset. Can I do a compassion reset with a chaperone?
oh, no. The an the
Yes, I
simple
want you to
answer is
say
no.
it out loud because it's like I want people to say it out loud. You cannot talk with a
Please
chaperone
don't.
about a personal human thing.
Please don't, and I wrote about this in the chapter, so please read the chapter. I get people are gonna use it. I get they already are. There were bots that were created as to help with, like, those
Lots of
types of
apps.
things. They
Lots of
existed.
apps on that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there are apps about that, but there's such a risk there because I
It
mean
defeats the
and
purpose. It's
yeah,
defeating its purpose. It is supposed to do
yes.
something, but it is not because you want empathy, you cannot get it. You're gonna
Yes.
get validation, and validation and empathy, it's two
Yes.
different meanings
It's
in one.
mimicked. It's just patterns that it's recognizing that it's responding to, but it could go off the rails and take you down a path that you don't wanna go. So, what I recommend instead is, to talk to humans. You know, there are amazing coaches and therapists out there. Keep it
Friends,
human.
friends, make friends. Friends,
Yes,
purpose.
family, trusted, safe humans first, above all. And if you have to talk to a bot, make sure you're checking it in reality with humans, with family. And yes, I would not turn to an AI for therapy related content. I would not myself. So, but I talk more about it in the chapter, so please read the chapter to
I
kinda
love
see more.
discussing their problems with AI to get a solution. And it's like, when I hear that, I'm like, how could you? It's like, it's
Oh,
not. Yes.
yes.
In your
Apply
chapter as
wisdom.
well. Yes, imagine it's like, I believe friends was the purpose is to listen, to be there, to validate, to make friends.
Mhm.
Go and talk to someone. If you feel ashamed, it's like talk to stranger. Just a normal encounter can really give you a boost and help you out.
Yes.
GPT, yes.
Talking about grounding, connecting with humans, with real people, safe people, keeps us grounded.
Life is meant so we can live together. We are supposed to interact and live together, not behind screens, not through
Mhm.
media,
Yes.
direct with each other. So I'm against any app or any device that is being overused or to be obsessed with to replace as a medium. Because when
Yes.
it comes to people, human, we need this human interaction. This is how we evolve. And failure actually is the reason we grow and we learn. So
Mhm.
failure, don't be ashamed of. It's okay to err. Learn from your mistakes. It's okay.
Yes. Fail forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Cinder Hain actually she wrote in chapter 3 about the relational ethics, and I feel that it's overlap a lot with compassion because compassion
Mhm.
without ethics doesn't.
Mhm.
Can you
Yes.
elaborate on this part?
Yes, Sidnor, I was reading the chapter before our, interview here, and oh my goodness, what an amazing chapter,
Yes, I
that
agree.
and actually I wrote them a message. I was like, "Oh my goodness, amazing chapter," and about how they even talked about therapists that the human component was taken out of some of our training programs. And I was like, whoa, yes. That, we put it down to rules. And Carl Rogers, a psychologist, um, with person-centered therapy. I mean, that title right there, person-centered therapy, it's about being with the person you're talking to. It's about being there, listening, validating, reflecting. And when we break it down into this formula of being a good therapist, you can't make a formula for that. We can learn different theories, but we basically have to absorb those theories and then be, in the room with the person or digitally if you're doing telehealth, and apply those theories, not break it down into people fit into these diagnostic boxes. And their chapter really talked well about this sort of thing. I didn't get to the end of it because trouble finishing things, but, um, I'm going to finish that chapter, but it was so good, so good.
It's actually so good because ethics matters because if you remove this component of it, it's gonna be, I'm not gonna say fake, but it's not gonna be true. It's not gonna be honest. It's not gonna come with sincerity. It's gonna come modified.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. And it needs to be
And yeah,
relational ethics, I think, and I'm still
exactly. It's
learning what
relational
that is.
aspects. Exactly. Yes, it's gonna be synthetic and maybe it won't be reciprocated well.
Mhm,
To be
mhm.
taken, yes, totally misinterpreted.
I love it.
Okay. Yes, yes. I believe your two chapters really overlap in this part,
They
and they
do.
both love it. Yes.
Mhm.
I, as a data engineer, it's like I believe burnout is a bug uh, that already we are all gonna deal with it, and it's a feature integrated. Is there a way or a tip that we can um, be immune from it?
Mm.
Because it's there. It's like if you
Immune.
use it on, you're going to get with the constant notifications, the push for productivity. You need to cope. The FOMO that
Mhm.
you need to be there. You need to use this. You need to try with that. This going to put a burnout is a bug, and you're gonna deal with it. How to so?
I think, one of my theories with and this is based on just what I've observed as being a therapist and
Mhm.
a business coach, that, um, as a therapist, compassion fatigue burnout is just part of the job. Now, if we patch for it, what we patch with are coping strategies or ways, because there's always going to be like, you have to get this done by this time, and there's deadlines, and that's always going to exist. But what we do to help reduce that is we stay grounded. Again, easier said than done. It's like,
Hmm.
how do I look out the window and just be grounded instead of worrying about the 10 things I have to do, and really unplugging? I think that how we patch for it is we work into our lives periods where we exercise without thinking about work, um, or about the 10 things we have to do. We watch the show that we wanted to watch without our phones and being present. We hang out with our family, we turn off the phone and we are present instead of all of us looking at our phones like this, at the dinner table or whatnot. I think it's a number of strategies we have to come up with ourselves to help us manage the burnout.
Yes. Because actually, do you see any difference between we adults, like my generation, we went through a lot. We know how to handle certain things. Our tolerance is is flexible, and our agility already we build it along the way. But with adolescents, I see it, especially with teen, and it's increasing. Do you see any in the study showing the tolerance is decreasing with adolescents and burnout is high in younger generation?
Did I see some studies about the younger generation with burnout, the risk that is increasing? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I'm not sure about younger because I'm more focused on adults. And just I think there is a chapter. I haven't read all the chapters yet, but that is about children and young adults. Or,
Yeah, that
but
is
my
what reading. Yes.
my focus is more adults. So I'm not sure, but it just, I have worked with children before. Um, and I think that just intuiting, like looking around, I see a lot of people on devices where when they're out to dinner, that sometimes as an entertainment to keep them focused, they hand them a device of some kind. And I just wonder about that. Like maybe we need to kind of find some more grounding activities like a toy instead of a device. But again, that's not necessarily my expertise. So I'm not sure if, but just kind of in general, I think that across the board, there's a risk of burnout for all of us.
It's true, but do you believe that the burnout is caused by over use of the digital um, devices and applications, or it is actually the disengagement from human touch or human interaction.
Mm. I bet both are related, and, correlation does not equal causation, so I'd actually have to look at research, but just am kind of intuiting, I bet they're both related, but I'd have to look up research.
Yes. Um, I work a lot with cybersecurity, and I always now with all this privacy, especially with AI agent era, we are into it. So I always tell them or help my client. I tell them it's really, really confidential. Keep it analog. Keep it off the cloud and keep it
Mm,
really not encrypted. Keep it off the grid, totally analog option. And it's a trending now that many, especially companies, they are gonna keep a lot of sensitive data in analog process and
that's
accessible by people, not by devices.
ooh,
Uh,
love that.
yes, yes, it's going to increase actually if we cannot close all the loopholes about AI because AI is entering a race that has no finish line. It's like we don't know what is the end. It's like the race is gonna keep going, and what are we are trying to prove?
Mm,
And it comes
that's
with a
good.
lots of privacy issue, and it's going to hijack our freedom, our privacy, our not just identity, our agency, everything.
Yes.
So, what do you suggest, or if there is any guidebook or framework to curb this feeling of excesses, like of anxiety that can cause
Mm,
burnout faster and spiral? This
mhm,
anxiety exists. How can you separate or draw a line that you keep it out of your life or you keep it at least contained
mm.
with
Well,
whatever you're dealing with? Yes. Mm.
so and just oh, do you still hear me? My
Yes.
my, I just had, like, a little glitch here. I couldn't see you for a moment. So managing anxiety. Now I have to be careful, just disclaimer, this is not therapeutic advice, but if I was to look at myself and I was experiencing anxiety in some way with my businesses or life, I'd look at where is the anxiety coming from? And what is making it worse and what helps. And for myself, I notice I feel the most grounded when I unplug, when I turn off
Being
the
analog.
tech. Yes,
Unplug.
go analog.
Yes.
Actually, I'm collecting physical media. My husband and I collect physical media because there are shows, there are games, there are creations that have been erased because they're
Ah,
not backed up. The physical copy didn't exist or it's no longer being made. So we're going I guess it's tech, but it's still there's an analog component, like
yes.
analog coming back. Physical books, I have a ton of them. I wanna
Please
have a huge
say,
library.
come back.
I actually am gonna buy AI, everywhere once it's physical. I am gonna put it on the shelf. Anyway, um, but yes, analog. We gotta go analog. We gotta slow
Yes,
down.
and people that miss the point that most of the best innovation happen in boredom. We need to get bored. Boredom is actually
Yes,
spark imagination. You need just to sit and look at the ceiling and listen to whatever chaos inside your head and all
yes,
this idea that not related to each other and link them. And this is will spark something. But
yes,
we don't have time to get bored. There is always something, always a notification, always an alert, a deadline that keep you
a
on
game.
tiptoe.
That's my current I have a game and it reminds me, "You are haven't logged into your game in a while." I'm like, "My goodness, give me a moment."
No, no, I cancel all notifications and I don't and on my phone because it's like I don't. If you want to get in something, take your time and indulge in it. Get into it fully, not
Mhm.
be disrupted by notifications. It can wait.
Yes,
Check it
yes,
later. Yes.
yes.
So
That's where
unplug.
the
Unplug.
guardrails.
Yes,
Mhm.
unplugging is really important, at least for 1 hour or two to start with. and connect with your child, with your husband. There was a study which was funny. The saying COVID, for the first time, couples starting to meeting each other and talk because they
Mhm.
were having two separate lives, and COVID put them face to face,
Yep,
and divorce rates hit high.
it did. Yes, I read that
Yes,
because they
wow.
were forced to be around each other and got to know each other again.
Exactly.
And
Oh my
sometimes that turned out well, and sometimes it
yes,
didn't.
yes. You know me. It's like, yeah, I've been here. Yeah,
Mhm,
was funny, but it's still show us that our digital age is take a lot from us. Not
mhm.
get, it's more. It's not outweighed. So okay, what is the last mental health step you can share it with us that expand chapter 9?
The mental health step that helps expand chapter 9. I think it's about awareness too. So this analog kind of thinking, like you're describing, I think is staying aware, listening to ourselves. You were talking about how the self, paying attention to the self and your own identity is important. I think listening to ourselves too, what do I notice when I'm on this platform? What do I notice when I'm talking to this AI? What do I notice, with this stuff that it spit out that totally removed my voice? You know, let's
Yeah.
not overuse it. Let's use it as a power up, not our whole voice. So, I think it's about grounding, unplugging, being present. I think we all say this, but, we're not human doings, we're human beings. Let's just be.
100%. 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything you'd like to elaborate more or to highlight from your chapter that is important that I miss from your compassion reset?
Hmm. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we touched on most everything. Um, yeah, I really appreciate your questions. They're very thoughtful, and
Mhm.
I was starting to read your chapter too. It's very interesting about agriculture and AI.
Yes, my two chapter is like, if you allow me, I try to juxtapose like yin yang. The beauty of AI can be used in industries that is totally data driven, like in agriculture, and it's really helping a lot of farming because it will give us control on what we don't know, like crop soil, how to handle things. But I also wrote about cybersecurity and to show the danger of it. So
Oh.
it can be used. So it's like the good and the bad, the right. It's not about right and wrong. It's like yin and yang. It can be really, really helpful, but in certain area,
Mhm.
when it's calculated, when it's just data driven, there is no human. You don't uh matter. It is the wind is strong or you know how to handle it, but the soil needs you need to adapted to it to make it ready for it, the pesticide, how much to do it. So anything that is numeric or it can be controlled with numbers or data that has no human in it, AI will be a great tool and it will help it tremendously. But on the other hand, if there is any human interaction, no, AI can really fire back and has a damage more than far greater than actually the benefits.
Wow. I'll have to read your other chapter too.
Yes.
I just read the one. That's great you wrote too. So cool.
I hope everyone will be grounded. So let's make a move into unplug. uh, it's like it's here. There is a habit I do. I usually take off my socks and my shoes and I walk barefoot on my backyard. Next, I have small garden, so it's like just to walk and feel it, and it's
Love that.
will calm me down. When I'm totally anxious or anything, I just go walk in my backyard barefoot just to connect with the earth.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Literally grounding. That's
yes,
awesome.
this is kind of physical grounding. maybe it will help. I don't know, but it's like try it. And some people go to hug a tree and they say it help,
Mhm.
but connect, just connect with people, talk to people. I think we should empower each other to remove the shame and the taboo about something. Just talk, whatever comes out of your mind. Find someone you can trust, a coaching, a friend, a sibling, and connect.
Yes.
There is no app and no technology can replace that.
Yes. Let's not replace the humans.
Finger
Mhm.
crossed. Okay. If you need yes. Um, where a reader should find you? Where is you have a LinkedIn, you have a newsletter name to share it with everyone?
I am on probably all the social medias, but I really am not on them very much. So I'm mostly on Substack. And I actually don't remember. I think it's Dr. Brie-Anna Willey at substack.com or something. But Business for Nerds is what I write. So you could just look at businessfornerds.com. And I'm not going to send everyone to Instagram or something because I'm really not on there. I try to follow what I talk about. I don't hang out on those.
Okay, so if anyone needs help with burnout, please, you know where to go to. Reach to Vergana. She's going to help you with the framework and read her chapter. She really talk about very well how to make a compassion reset. And there is a tips how to, if you follow it, it will help you get over it. So Brianna, thank you so much. Is there is anything you wanna say or address to anyone?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for all your awesome questions. Thank you for the interview.
No, thank you so much for your time. And get the book. It's already on Amazon. It's like try to find it. We are going to put the link. Every chapter discuss one theme that is really important to all of us. It touch every household.
Buy the book.
Yes, for the book. Yes. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.